Good morning, guys. Welcome to Tuesday morning Pilates. I hope you're doing all okay. You had a nice Easter weekend, I'm sure. Hopefully not too much chocolate, but if that is the case, then hopefully we can work a little bit on that today. Not so much sun, which is a bit of a shame, but there we go. This is English weather, right? I hope you're all prepared. Going to give it another 30 seconds or so to make sure everyone's ready and in, and then we will go from there. Make sure you have a drink with you, and make sure your mat is all set up and ready. Morning Lillian, hope you're doing okay. Molly, nice of you to join us. Angela, great to see that you're in, that's fantastic, hope you're doing okay. Dr. Harris, it's fantastic to see you here. I hope you enjoy the class. Antonio, good morning. Arturo, nice of you to join us. Carly, Amy. Julian's here as well, fantastic. Alexia, you're here, fantastic. Arena, good morning. Laura, good morning. Olga as well, fantastic. Oh, look, good group in. All right, so again, mat Pilates, it is Tuesday morning. It's how we're going to be from now on. We're going to focus a little bit more on the bottom half today. One of the requests had a message to me last week after our classes that I need to spend a little bit more time on the glutes. I thought we did a little bit of leg work that was quite general in terms of doing some lunging, some stepping, some more functional work. So today's going to be a little bit more about just trying to really make sure that your glutes are working as hard as they can. Not just from a fatigue point of view, we want to get them as functional as possible, but people want to have good glutes, right? So we're going to try and make today a class where you work a little bit, obviously, through your core as well. Your glutes and your core work together, but you are going to really challenge through your glutes as well in a range of positions. Again, I'll always try and give options. If anything on there is difficult for you position-wise, injury-wise, things like that, leave a comment, let me know, and I'll always try and add in some options whenever I can. Have fun, and yeah, give me any comments. Samson, good to see you in as well. Glad to see you're up. Mr. Bertram, good to hear you. See you're joining us from Germany as well. Okay, so we're going to start with some rollouts. We're going to start and get you prepared physically for what we're doing. So we're just going to stand at one end of our mat, big deep breath in, reach the arms up. Breathe out as you bring your hands down to the floor, and then walking out into a press up position. Take a deep breath in again, and then breathe out, walking the hands all the way back in. Reach up, deep breath in, and breathe out, bring the hands down to the floor, walking the hands slowly out into a press up position. Deep breath in, and then again breathe out as you walk the hands all the way back in. Reach up, fill the lungs, and then one more time, bring the hands down to the floor, and then walking out into a press up position. This time we're going to hold there. You're going to take your right foot out, slide your right hand, okay? Back knee drops down, and we create a bit of rotation into a stretch for our hips here, okay? From there, the right hand lifts up, and you're going to reach for the ceiling. I want you to look at your fingertips. That's going to help you turn through the chest. The more rotation of your chest, the more stretch you're going to get around your hip or through your back. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Bring the hand back down inside the right foot. Step the right foot back and step the left foot outside the left hand. Again, right knee is touched down. Left hand this time rotates up. And again, you want to turn through the chest. Look for your fingertips as they reach for the ceiling. Hold there. 3, 2, and 1. Bring the hand back down. We're going to repeat that onto the other side. Right foot outside the right hand. Left knee stays down. Reach the right arm up. Look for the fingertips as you turn and open through the chest as much as you can. Holding for 3, 2, 1. Bring the hand back down. And this time again, left foot forward. And reach the left arm up, turning through the chest. Look for the fingertips. 3, 2, 1. And bring the hand back down. Feet come together. This time your heels together. And you're going to let the knees go wide. You're going to sink back into a child pose stretch. Try and let your head touch the ground. I want your forehead to go all the way down, and then try and reach your hands as far away as you can without moving your head down. See if you can really extend to the end of your yoga mat. 3, 2, 1. And relax from there. Come up into a 4-point kneeling. And we're going to go into a cat-cow stretch. Just a very simple movement to get us rolling through the spine before we get into some pelvic tilts. So, from here, we're going to start from one end. So from the bottom of our back, we're going to squeeze our glutes and abs and try and tilt and arch our back. Try and pull up through your abdominals, through your rib cage, as if you're going to try and pull your back to the ceiling. As you do that, think about then tucking the chin and trying to look at your knees as you lift your back as high as you can. And now reverse. Start from the shoulders. Relax them. Let the head start to lift. Start thinking about this move from the top of your back. And you start to think about pushing your collarbones down towards the floor and then rolling through the middle of your back into your lower back and create as much extension through your spine as you can. Again, we reverse, tilt the hips, squeeze your glutes and abs, roll through the spine, lifting up. Lastly, the shoulders, the head tucks in. And then reverse one more time. Shoulders relax, head starts to lift, collarbones start to push down, rolling through the spine. And again, heels together, knees wide, and drop into a child pose stretch. Let the head go down, reach the arms right forward, and enjoy the stretch. 3, 2, and 1. One more stretch on the mat before we pop up and make it a little bit more dynamic. We are just going to go into a hip flexor hamstring combination here. So what I want you to do is step your left foot forward, so you're in a lunge position, your back knee is down again. If your mat is comfortable enough for you to be in that position, if it hurts your knee, maybe try putting a pillow underneath it or something, or rolling, doubling up the mat. From here, all we're going to do is think about stretching into your right hip, okay? So all that means we're going to do is we're going to lean forward into a lunge position. So the knee doesn't go past the ankle. What we do is we lean forward from the hips. We create more extension here by then squeezing your glute and pushing the hips forward into that position. You should feel the stretch into the front of here. If you need to lean forward a touch more, you can. What I don't ever want to see is you down here. We don't want to lose our postural position. We'll keep a little squeeze through our shoulder base, good abdominal activator. If you can get forward without feeling much of a stretch here, your hips aren't that tight, don't worry about it. What usually happens if the hips aren't tight, it's the hamstrings that might get tight as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch this into an alternate stretch. Is we're going to drop our weight back, sink our hips back towards our heels, and pull our toes right up. So we sit right back, and so we get this motion straightening through our left leg, trying to pull our toes up towards you. Now if you run a lot, you sit at a desk a lot, you might get tight hamstrings, so your range might not be that much, you might be here. If you're very flexible, you might be able to get your hands right around your toes. Again, my range and your range are very different. Just do the point that gets you a stretch in the back of your leg. Good. We're going to rock back forward and go back into that hip flexor stretch. 3, 2, 1, and again we're going to come back, we're going to sit back into that hamstring stretch, try and pull the toes up, try and straighten that leg as much as we can so we get that hamstring stretch. You almost feel it just above the knee. 3, 2, and 1. Good. And we're going to switch. We're going to go into the right foot forward, left knee back. Again, good posture, think about your position, lean forward, squeeze your glutes, drive the hips forward, lean forward a bit from the chest, feel the stretch into the front of your left hip this time, okay? 3, 2, and 1. From there, we shift the weight back, we sit the hips all the way back until we get to a point where we stretch out through that front leg. Try and pull the toes up and try and enjoy that stretch into the back of your leg. And coming straight back forward into that hip flexor stretch into the front of that left leg. Lean right into it. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to sit back one more time. Pull the toes right up. Enjoy the stretch. Again, your range may be very individual here. I have a long-standing hamstring injury on the right side, so my range is never quite as good on this side, so don't judge me, please. But again, as long as you get to that stretch where you feel it just above the knee, the lower part of the upper leg, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that hamstring stretch. That's what we want. 3, 2, and 1. Good. From here we go into a hamstring swing, so it's like more dynamic hamstring exercise. One hand for balance. Let that leg swing forward and back. As that leg moves forward and back, make sure you're not going to kick anything, furniture, giraffes, anything like that. Make sure you have your range. As you do this, now your body is still. What I don't want to see is this. Again, squeeze your glutes and abs, let the legs swing forward and back. As you go forward, you should feel a bit of stretch into the back of the leg. As you bring it back, squeezing into your glute. Put your hand on your backside. As you take the heel behind you, you should be able to feel your glutes engage. 3, 2, 1. And we switch to the other side. Again, make sure you're not going to kick anything. Make sure you're nice and stable. Make sure you're getting a stretch in the back of the leg as the leg swings forward. And you're squeezing the glute on the way back. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're just going to go into a shift now, start to get a bit of tension and a bit of work into your inner thighs, your abductors. So we're going to come into a slightly wide squatted position, okay? So your feet are a little bit wider than your knees, toes slightly turned out. And all we're going to do is start to shift your weight from side to side, okay? And you're just going to, over a period of about 25, 30 seconds, is you're going to start, as you feel comfortable, starting to get a little bit lower down into it. And all we're doing is starting to get a little bit of tension there each time we shift over. Now again, your range here is very individual, so do it as you need to. If you feel very comfortable sitting right down into a squat as you shift from side to side, keeping the heels down, very important, that's absolutely fine. You'll get a maximum stretch in that position. But if your range doesn't allow it, your hips, your knee or your back, doesn't matter. Just get used to being in this position where you can shift from side to side, getting a little bit of tension. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. Check the legs out. Final little warm up before we go into some slightly more challenging work. Okay, and this is very, very simple, just a bit of a drill to get your heart rate going as well. Is we're just going to go from our feet to our knees, okay? So all I want you to do is drop down onto one knee, onto the other knee, and back onto your feet. And I just want you to keep a little bit of pace for this for 30 seconds. Alternate the movement so you don't just go the same way. And as you do this, as you're continuing to do this over this next 20 seconds or so, think about how you use your abdominals. Think about being stable through your core. Think about keeping your eye line pretty straightforward. Can you do that? Can you be as controlled as your body wants to move? Again, we can rotate the other way if necessary. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. All right. Quick drink if you need it, and then when you're ready, we're going to lie down flat on your back. Okay, pelvic tilts now. We've done this in the other Pilates classes if you've joined in. Really, really important. Most people don't get this movement well. That's why we're focusing on making sure you're perfect at it. The better you are at this, the more you're going to get out of glute and abdominal exercises, okay? So lying by your side, hands by your side. I'm going to take my arm out of the way just so you can see my hips, but just let your hands rest by your side, okay? What I want you to think about doing is pulling down through your rib cage, down through your belly button, just so you really imprint your lower back down into the floor. But as you do that, we're going to think about your hips lifting 1 inch off the floor. So that's a roll of your hips. You're tilting your hips and relax. Tilting the hips and relax. Knees bent, feet flat, just in a relaxed position. No weight should be in your feet, no pushing through the legs. This is all from your core. It's all from your engagement of your abdominals. Now again, this may take a few repetitions to warm up, especially if you've not done it for a little while. So use your hands, be quite hands-on, feel your abdominal muscles and make sure that they're working. Same for your glutes, put your hands on your backside. As you create that little tilt and you lift your bum 1 inch off the floor, you should be able to feel your glute muscles, your backside engaging. And we're just going to continue with that tilt now. Try and get another 30 seconds or so here, just so we can really start to get your abs and glutes working, because they really need to work hard today. If you have a Pilates ring or a magic circle or a resistance band, you can always pop that around the knees here. That little bit of resistance, that what we call external rotation, helps the glutes to work harder, but as not everyone has them, I'm going to do it without. If you find it difficult to create that tilt, you find that movement difficult, do let me know afterwards, send me a message or something. I do have a few little tips for making this a little bit easier, but sometimes it's very individual why people find it challenging to create this tilt. So don't be afraid to send me a message on Instagram or for email, if you need a bit of advice on that, but really start to tilt. And you should be able to put your hands on your hips and feel that tilt now. You should be able to feel your back lift away as your hips are down, and then flatten the back and tilt the hips. And as you start to feel that now, we're going to start to lift up higher. So we're going to start with each repetition to lift a little bit more. Now as you lift a bit more, you're not lifting your back like a plank of wood. You're thinking like your back is being peeled off a page like a sticker. So you're lifting up and returning back down, one vertebrae at a time, rolling through the spine, really learning how to control through your abdominals. And again, you should be able to feel those abdominal muscles working. You should be able to feel your glutes beginning to engage. And again, never be afraid to be a little bit hands-on as you do these movements to make sure that the right muscles are working. Good. Should be starting to feel it now. We're going to do about another 10 seconds. Really roll through that spine. Get as much range and roll and engagement as you can. Good. One more time. Lift up to the top. Squeeze and hold. Hands come across your chest if you can balance. Drop your hips down 1 inch. Squeeze your glutes and lift them back up. Relax, drop down, squeeze your glutes. So we're relaxing the engagement and squeezing hard. And we're just going to keep going, this little pulsed engagement. Each time you squeeze and clench your glutes, you should be able to feel it. 5, 4, 3, 2, one more, and relax. Very good. Hug your knees into your chest, give a good squeeze, and take just a little rock from side to side. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Okay, a little bit more glute work. Going to start to get them worked and firing. Going to use a clamshell movement. Again, not for a lot of repetitions, but enough to really start to feel them getting going. Okay, so again, if you've done my class before, you'll understand how I want this position. If you haven't done it, do listen up. It's a little bit different to how some people teach it. So we're going to lie on the right hand side. Okay, elbow bends so the hand supports the head. I want you to think about your knee position, okay? What we don't want is this flexed knee position, okay? That's not going to inhibit our glutes. What we want is extension. So I want your knees tucked right back. So your knees, hips, shoulders, and head are all in a straight line, okay? Heels stay together, feet tucked behind you, okay? Keep the heels together. You're going to push your right knee into the ground as you try and lift your left knee up towards the ceiling, okay? And back down. Do it again. Lift that left leg as high as it can go, and back down. Now what I'm pretty sure everybody did, because I didn't cue them, is we didn't set the hips. So take your left hand now, put it onto your hips, and continue. Now as you do this, don't allow your body to roll back, because that's cheating. If anything, lean slightly further forward. Push that right leg into the floor a little harder. And as you do that, and lift up through the left leg, now we have a pretty pure rotation from that left glute, and that's going to really get that left leg to work hard. Good, we're going to do this movement for about 60 seconds. And again, what we're trying to do is to get that glute to be fired up and working hard, okay? Again, keep the feet tucked right back. Try and push the heels together. And as you lift up, you should begin to feel that glute working. And again, your range is individual to you. If you can lift your leg higher than me, great. If you can't lift it as high as me, that's okay as well. It's your range. As long as you feel your left glute starting to work, you feel that muscle working, and again, be hands-on, that's what we're looking for, okay? Good. Now, I'm sure some of you already know this, but if you didn't, your glute is not one muscle. Your glutes, plural, are 3 muscles. Your gluteus maximus, which is the big muscle that we're working here. You have another one called your gluteus minimus, which we don't really need to challenge too much through exercise. It gets worked a lot on both the ranges that your glutes work. But the other one is your gluteus medius, which works a lot on stabilizing. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to lift the feet. Keep the bottom knee down, push it hard into the ground, and continue with this opening and closing movement. Keeping that hand onto your hip, that's going to keep the hip still and really make you rotate from the hip and really start to get that glute working. Good, about 20 seconds. Really trying to rotate, try to lift that knee up, try and get that glute to engage as hard as we can. Three more. Two more. Good, one more time. Good, lovely stuff. Turn onto your back, take your left leg across your right and enjoy the stretch around your hip. If it's nice and easy for you, you can put your hands around your leg and pull that right leg in towards you. As long as you feel a good stretch around your hip, that's all we want. Don't try and force it, don't try and rip it in towards you. Just get to a point where you feel a good stretch around the hip. 3, 2, 1. Take the leg all the way across, so the right leg comes all the way across the left leg. And then just take your right hand to just below the knee and try and pull your left knee a little bit across towards your right shoulder. Now you don't have to move it far to feel a slightly different stretch more around the outside of your hip. And again, just enjoy that stretch. The knee doesn't need to get all the way up to your shoulder. Don't make this uncomfortable for your joints. 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Shake the legs out. Big smile, of course. You have 2 legs. You will know this. You're all looking forward to it already, I'm sure. So, when you're ready, switch around onto the other side. Again, elbow bends, hand supports your head. Think about being on your side. Think about your knees not being bent in front of you, but quite the opposite. Your feet being tucked back behind you. If you have a line on your yoga mat, sometimes that's a good idea to use just to kind of give you a good bit of position. So, left knee pushes into the floor, heels together. All we're going to do now is try and keep that right hip as still as we can. Right hand is on the hip to maintain that. And we're going to think about that top knee lifting up and coming back down. And we're trying to create as much external rotation as we can. That movement of opening away from this hip, but it can't be with the hip moving, okay? We've got to keep that hip still. So you use that hand, if anything, lean slightly forward into it and try and lift the top knee up and back down. Good. Really force that left knee down. If you can force that left knee down for me, you will definitely start to feel the right glute work a little bit harder. And your glutes work together. So don't be surprised to still feel that left one doing a little bit of work after it's a bit fatigued from what we did earlier. And again, we're going to do about 60 seconds here, okay? So we're just about past halfway. And it should be easy now. You should begin to feel that glute getting engaged. Good. Try and challenge that range. Lift a bit further, but don't move that hip, okay? Okay, a couple more, and then we're going to lift the feet like we did before and start to work a little bit through that other glute muscle as well. Okay, one more time. Good, okay, so a little bit of a lean forward. Feet lift, keep the feet behind you, and continue with that range, trying to lift up through that right glute. Now again, you might find your range is more limited on this side. That's pretty normal. But as long as you lift and you get glute activation, you feel that muscle high into the side of your glute working, I am happy, okay? You should be happy as well. That's what you're here for. And again, like I said earlier, your range is your range. So if you can go further than I can, absolutely great. As long as you get that glute to work. And again, be hands on. Another 15 seconds. Good. Couple more now. Good. One more time. Lift it up as high as you can. Challenge that range. And relax. Very good. Onto your back. Right leg comes across the left. Again, enjoy the stretch around your hip. If you need to pull the leg in towards you a little bit to get a bit more stretch, that's absolutely up to you. Again, your range is your range. Do what you need to find your stretch. But don't make it too crazy, just get a gentle stretch around the hip. Good. From there, you're going to take the right leg across the left, taking your left hand just below the knee, holding onto the front of the shin, trying to pull your left knee towards your left shoulder just very gently, and you'll get a stretch right around the side of your hip now, a little bit high into the side of the glute. And again, just enjoy that stretch. Three, two, and one. Good stuff. Shake the legs out. Again, if you need to grab a drink, that's absolutely perfect. But now we're going to go into our first sort of circuit of glute work. Okay? So we're going to do 2 exercises. Now, again, some of these exercises where we're lying down are great to really start to teach the glute on how to work. And we're going to do another one, but then we're going to stand you up and go into a reverse lunge as well, because it's important that we learn to use our glutes through these more dynamic exercises. Okay, so you're going to pop yourself down so you're lying flat on your back, just like we did earlier. And we are going to go into what is known as a frog pump. Okay, so what that means is that we are going to have a frog position. Now, from the front on, that's going to be soles of your feet together, knees wide. Okay, but we're going to try and create this in a glute bridge type of movement. Okay. So, again, as much as your feet allow, if you lack a bit of flexibility, you can always lift the feet on a cushion or something if that makes it more comfortable. But knees are wide, feet flat together. You're going to push the heels together as hard as you can. You're not pushing into the floor, pushing your feet together. Think about that pelvic tilt we did earlier. So squeeze your glutes and abs, flatten the back, clench your glutes, push the heels together, and drive the hips up and back down. Now again, we're still trying to get that sort of peeling off a page roll through your spine, not just lifting up wildly. Squeeze your glutes and abs, roll through your spine and push the hips up. As you push the hips up, push the heels together. Squeeze them hard, put your hands on your glutes. Should be rock hard now. It's hard in this external rotation. You can't do this without your glutes engaging. Roll through your spine again. Keep the knees wide, squeeze the glutes and drive up. And rolling back down. We're going to do this for 60 seconds, okay? Squeeze the glutes and drive up. And roll back down. Take a deep breath in on the way up. And breathe out on the way back down. Push the heels together as hard as you can. Again, don't get tempted into trying to elevate and lift through your ribs. Okay, make sure this all comes from your glutes and abdominals. So think about those movements we focused on earlier. You won't be able to lift as high as a bridge. You're just trying to get to a point where your hips, knees and shoulders get into a straight line. Big glute squeeze. Drive the heels together. Put your hands on your glutes again if you need to. Last 10 seconds. Squeeze the glutes up. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good. And again. Drive them up. And relax back down. Good. First set done. You're going to do a few of these, okay? So enjoy them. Alright, from here we're going to go into our first lunging movement, okay? So all this is going to do is be a step back, okay? So you're not going to get the knee all the way down to the ground. We're just going to step back. A little bit of bend in the knees. Step together. Step back. A little bit of bend. Step together. Good. Just get into that motion of a little step back. We're not going into a full lunge yet. I don't want to overcomplicate it yet, okay? I'm going to try and give you some options, and we're going to progressively make this harder and harder as you get more and more fatigued. Again, if you find bending at the knees a little bit of a challenge, you can always stand upright and do more of a marching movement where you think about holding in that position for a little bit, okay? But for everyone who can, just think about getting into that movement of bending through the hip. Little lean forward, don't lean back. And just that little bend. Start to encourage that movement. Make sure the front of the thighs, your quads aren't too tight. Make sure the hips are moving nicely. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good. Luckily for you, we get to do that again. Okay, so we're going to do all the exercises, the 3 exercises we're going to do here. We're going to do them twice, okay? So it's going to be 6 sets in total. So, feet together. Same movement, getting that roll through your spine. So don't let the rib cage lift. We're going to go into that frog pump. Rib cage down, squeeze hard into your abdominals. Create that pelvic tilt hard. Keep the knees apart, squeeze into your glute, and drive the heels together, and squeeze and drive the hips up, feel the glutes work. Roll through the spine on the way down as well. Deep breath in, come up, squeeze your abs, squeeze your glutes, and breathe out, rolling back down. Continue for that motion for another 60 seconds. You find it difficult to get the range to lift your hips very high, bring your elbows down. Be really deliberate about pushing into your elbows. That's going to help you drive the hips up, almost give you a counter against gravity. If you feel strong here, bring your hands across your chest so that you're not tempted to use those arms in any way. You're really focusing on using those abs and glutes. So again, arms across the chest is the tough version. Elbows down if you feel that you need a bit more range and not quite getting those glutes to really fire up. 2 more. Really push the heels together. Really squeeze and drive up. Good. 1 more time. Good. Lovely stuff. Pop yourself up, and again we're going to go back into that step back exercise. Okay, this time we're just going to make it a little bit more challenging. We're going to add a bit more range into a full lunge this time, okay? So, step back, back knee gets close to the ground, you pause, push back up. Switch leg, step back, pause just by the ground, and step back, okay? If you find lunges hard, again just going into that static standing exercise where you're driving one leg up is absolutely fine. When you're doing that reverse lunge, you're taking the leg back, don't cross your legs over. Don't get to a position where you're stepping back across the other leg. If anything, do the opposite. Create a little bit of width in the legs. That's going to help you again work on those stabilizers of your glutes, okay? Back knee gets close to the ground, push back up. Chest, as always in the lunge position, lean slightly forward. Create more flexion at your hip. That's what we're trying to do. We're working on your glutes and your glute work going from this flex position, driving up to extension here. That's your glutes. That's what we're trying to make them greater. That way when we walk, when we run, when we go up and down stairs, or even when we're sat for a long time, they can control our movements, not our hips, not our lower back. "20 seconds to go. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Shake the legs out. You should be starting to feel it. Might not be too bad. I hope not. Because we're now going to do the hard bit. Grab a quick drink. Take a few seconds. Feel free to leave me an emoji or a comment whilst you take these 30 seconds. Let me know how you're feeling. Good to see a few more of you join since we started as well. Jennifer's there, nice to see you. Michael's there. Sylvia. Good. Marin, good to see you in. Laura, you're always having fun in these classes, I'm glad. Okay, alright. So, again, we're going to switch up between some more dynamic and some more static glute work. So we're going to start with the more static. So we're going to go into a glute bridge, just as we did before. I don't know what you're thinking. It's not too bad. That's why we're going to start to work single leg now, okay? Our glutes can work together, but it's important that we work, especially when we think about stabilizing when we lunge and we step, making them good at working individually. So we're going to go into a glute bridge, okay? And the first one we're going to do is what we call a eccentric glute bridge. So we're going to drive our hips up to the top. Use your elbows, I don't mind. Squeeze your glutes, create the right movement and drive your hips up high. Hold there. From that position, push the elbows into the ground, lift your left leg high, and then control through the glutes and abs, and as slowly as you can, roll all the way back down. When your hips touch down, bring the feet back down. Create that tilt, squeeze your glutes, drive up to the top. Point the toes if you wish, and again, roll through your spine to come back down. You're controlling the speed on the way back down. The slower, the better, okay? So, elbows in, tilt the hips, squeeze your glutes, drive the hips up. Take the leg high, keep the hips high as that leg goes up, and then try and roll through your spine on the way back down. And again, tilt the hips, glutes up, drive the leg up, and then controlling back down. Good. And again, roll through the spine. Good, not bad everyone. But I know what you're thinking. You want more challenge. So, we're now going to do this in both directions, okay? We're going to really rely on that right leg to work hard. So, left leg comes up. Don't worry about overly extending it up. Keep a little bit of softness in the knee. I don't want you to get too thought about extending it. Just make sure it's up. From there, create that tilt. Squeeze your glutes. Lift your backside 1 inch. Engage your ab. Drive up towards the ceiling. And then roll through the spine. And again. Again, focusing on getting that tilt, getting that roll through the spine as you do this movement, okay? Focus a little bit on this right knee for me on the next few reps. Make sure that knee doesn't fall in towards the other leg. You can keep it a little bit away from the other leg so you can focus on using that glute to stabilize your hip position. Pelvic tilt, lift the backside 1 inch, roll through it, drive the hips up, and rolling back down. Now you should begin to feel your right glute working through this movement. One more time. Hold at the top. From there, drop an inch and up an inch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax back down. Nice and control. Good. Should be feeling your right glute a little bit by now. I hope so. Now we're going to take that lunge movement and make it a little bit harder. Okay, so right leg is going to stay forward, left leg is going to step back. So we lunge, same as before. This time as we come up, we drive up, and we come up into this standing position with the left leg lifted. Take it back, toes down, lunge, pause, drive back up. So we're really focused on going from that bottom end of the lunge all the way to the top now. Okay, so come down, pause, drive up, squeeze into that right glute as you stand up. When you come down into the lunge, make sure this knee again isn't falling in, especially as we start to get fatigued. Don't let the knee go past your toes. Knee stays above your ankles, knee stays in line with your third and fourth toe, okay? Lunge away, pause, drive up toward the ceiling. Pause, and come up. Really drive the hips forward, squeeze your abdominal glutes. Think about that bridging motion we did earlier. We did it for a reason. You can keep using that feeling through this motion. We're never going to get to a position where we want the rib cage to create the movement. We want it to drive from the hips. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more time down into that lunge. Lean forward a little bit extra. Let your back knee come down an inch and up an inch. All the weight goes through the front leg. So you're pushing through your right heel to lift you up and down. 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep that knee in line. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Shake the legs off. You should have felt that right glute start to work. If you need to, give it a bit of a whack and get a bit of life back into it again. Take 20 seconds, grab yourself a quick drink, and then we do it again. Barry's Law, I'm glad you're enjoying it. That's fantastic to hear. Okay, luckily for you, you have two legs, so we are now going to work through the other side. Okay, so we're going to lunge on the other side after we've done those glute bridges on this side. So again, flat onto your back, hands by your side, knees bent, knees, feet, hips all in a straight line. Don't let the knees wobble over to a side. From here, we're going to start with the eccentric one. Okay, so we're going to elbows in, tilt the hips, squeeze your glutes, and drive the hips up towards the ceiling. From there, take the right leg up, and then use that left glute to control you down. Backside touches down, feet back, tilt the hips, squeeze your glutes and out. Drive the hips up, reach the leg up, and again, roll through the spine on the way back down. Really start to get that control from your glutes and abs. So natural that you can do it on cue without almost thinking about it. That's what we want. That's the aim, ultimately, is for this pelvic tilt movement to be so natural. I don't even have to cue you for it. You just know that's how we create glute and abdominal control. So tilt the hips, squeeze your glutes, drive the hips up, leg up, and then control down through the glutes and abs. A few more here, and then we'll go into the harder version. Again, if you don't need the harder version, this one's tough enough, good, stay with it. I'm going to try and give you some options. Drive up, roll through the spine. Good, tilt the hips, squeeze your glutes and out, drive up, and roll through the spine on the way back down. Lovely work. Okay, I want to make it more challenging. We keep that leg lifted all the way through, so the glute has to work to drive up and back down. So, right leg up, again, doesn't have to be completely straight. Don't overly worry about trying to lift it up, because sometimes people get a bit balanced, a bit unbalanced by doing so. So keep the leg up. Think about a little tilt of squeeze of your glutes and abs, and drive up towards the ceiling, and roll through the spine on the way back down. Deep breath in. Control that tilt, driving up, and then rolling on the way back down. Good. Now again, as your glutes start to get fatigued, this starts to get really tough. You start to feel like your abs are hanging into it a little bit more. That's not a bad thing. You want your abs and glutes to work with each other. Really roll through the spine on the way back down. Two more. We're going to hold the last one, remember, okay? Okay, time for the fun bit. Make sure again that your left knee isn't falling in. Tilt the hips, squeeze your glutes, drive the hips up, right leg up towards the ceiling. Drop down an inch and up an inch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Very good. Check the legs out, give them a bit of a tap if you need to. Okay, so I'm going to do that lunging step with the knee drive afterwards, okay? This time left leg is forward, right leg is going back. So step back into the lunge, back knee nearly touches the ground, and we drive up. Back down, little pause, and driving up. Now if you did your right leg first, most people probably did do their dominant leg. You might find this just more difficult in general. But also, again, your glutes work together. So whichever way you did it, this is going to be harder now. If you left your weaker leg or your less dominant leg to do it second, it's going to be a little bit harder. So if you need to take any rest, that's absolutely fine. But again, focus on the technique. Leg back, lean forward, back knee down, pause, push through the left heel, squeeze into your left glutes. You drive the hips forward as that knee comes up. No rib cages up, no eye lines up, okay? Remember when we lunge away that we're not lunging across the other leg, we're creating that little bit of width, okay? 15 seconds to go. And obviously for the last 10, I'm going to give you a bit more of a challenge. So, get yourself set into that lunge position one more time. A little bit of extra weight forward. Back knee's going to come down, and you're going to push through the front leg, up and down. 10, 9, 8. Should fit it straight into your left glute. If not, lean forward more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax again. Walk around, shake the legs out, grab a quick drink. Anyone starting to feel the glutes now? I hope so. Yeah, I really hope so. Time is flying on us as always. You must be having as much fun as I am teaching it. I hope you're having as much fun taking part. We've got 2 main exercises to go, and they're going to be a little bit more about your core now, okay? Your glutes should be really fired up. Your glutes are going to be used in these, but primarily we're going to get a little bit of ab work now, okay? Now again, if you've done my classes, you will have done this movement, and you may find it takes a little bit of time to get used to the idea about it, but we're going to do that deep core activation where we really breathe out, okay? Now again, if you haven't done it, try and listen, try and understand it. Again, if you're ever not sure about something, do send me a message. I'll happily clear it up one-on-one if we need to. So, flat on your back, hands by your side. We're going to really challenge those deeper abs now, okay? We've worked a lot on using your abdominals to stabilize and be structural. Now we're going to really think about how those deeper pelvic floor muscles engage, okay? And they work in 2 ways, either coughing or being sick. Now I'm not going to make you sick, but I can make you cough, okay? So, knees bent, feet flat. Take a deep breath in, as deep breath as you can. Really fill your lungs, hands by your side, almost pointing towards your ankles. After you've taken a big deep breath in, I want you to breathe out as much as you can as you try and touch your ankles. Now that movement is your head and chest coming up, not tucking down, trying to lift your head and shoulders just a few inches off the floor. Keep breathing out now. Keep breathing, keep going. Breathe everything out until you create a little cough, and then come all the way back down. Take a deep breath in. Fill your lungs. Breathe out. Lifting through the chest and head. And back down. Good, we want to keep going with this motion, really extending into it. Each time you should be able to go a little bit further. Deep breath in. And breathe out. Reach for your ankles. Lift through the head and chest. Extend into it. Try and use your abdominals to pull yourself up a little bit further each time as you breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. And back down. We've done 3, we've got 7 to go. Deep breath in. Breathe out. Reach for the ankles. Lift through the chest. Use your abdominals to pull you up. Keep breathing. And back down. Same again. Deep breath in. Breathe out. Reach for the ankles. Lift through the head and chest. Use your abdominals. Pull your belly button down into the ground. Use that pelvic tilt. Keep breathing, keep breathing, keep breathing. And back down. Really important, as you lift up through the head and chest, pull the belly button down. Create that pelvic tilt we focused on today. Deep breath in. Breathe out. Reach for the ankles. Pull the lower back down. Squeeze through the glutes and abs to lift the head and chest. Keep breathing. And back down. Good work. 4 to go. Deep breath in. Breathe out. Good. And again. Deep breath in. And breathe out. Keep the eye line up. Don't tuck the chin. Lift the chest. 3, 2, 1. Good. Couple more repetition. Good. One more time. Deep breath in. Keep breathing. And relax. Good. Hug your knees into your chest. Give them a good squeeze. Take a little rock from side to side. Nearly there, just about enough time for our last exercise. And again, we're going to challenge your abs and we're going to think about using your glutes at the same time, okay? So we're going to create a movement called a dead bug, okay? There's a few variations that we have of this. So we're going to do 2 different variations and I'm going to give you a few options for, again, different positions if you can't keep your lower back down or you feel it into your back, okay? So the first one we're going to do is get into a tabletop position, okay? So that's going to be lying flat on your back, knees above your hips, feet out 90 degrees. What I don't want to see is your feet down here. I also don't want to see your knees right in here. If anything, your feet can be fractionally higher than your knees, that's absolutely fine. Now to start this movement, head down, we think about that squeeze and engagement of our abs, okay? So pull down through our abs, flattening our lower back. Breathe in, take one leg down. Breathe out, lift it back up. Breathe in, take one leg down. Breathe out, lift it back up. Hands onto your abs, on your rib cage. Again, make sure that as you're moving through your legs, your abs are engaging, okay? Now what we're going to do, the way we turn this into a more challenging movement or the dead bug movement, is that we add upper body movement here as well, okay? So what we're going to do now, your arms are going to reach for the ceiling. Still think about that ab squeeze. As your right foot goes down towards the floor, the left leg extends. Pause as you touch the floor, come back up. Controlling down, and back up. As you create 2 movements away from your core, you're going to be tempted to lift up through your lower back. Focus on keeping that ab squeeze for me, okay? Hands up, legs into tabletop. Right leg moves, left arm moves. If you find it easier that each time you come back to that middle position, use your hands and reset yourself, not a problem. Whatever works for you. Now, if you're quite strong through your core and you find that's not much of a challenge, we're going to give you an option to create width with your arms instead of length, okay? Length keeps you in a nice straight line, doesn't challenge you too much. What we can do though, is from that tabletop position, is as your left foot goes down, is your right arm comes wide. And then you have to start thinking about using what we call posterior sling and not tilting into it, okay? So, as that left foot comes down, the arm comes out, coming back. And you just start to feel your abs have to work a little bit harder to make sure that you don't rock from side to side. If you find that you're tilting through your hips, just reset, go again. Good, we're going to go here for another 60 seconds. We're going to go right to the end, working as hard as we can through this exercise. I don't want you to go with both legs at this point. Your glutes should have been really fatigued, so I don't want you to get in a position where your back starts to take too much work. Just do it with one leg. If you want to make it harder, slow it down, add more time at the bottom of the ranges. When that foot gets close to the floor, when the arm gets close to the floor, that's the hard work for the abs, okay? Last 15 seconds. Start to add a little more pause if you can at the end of the ranges. Last 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hug your knees in, give them a good squeeze into your chest, little rock from side to side. Just to make sure we take no attention to your back, we're going to finish with a thread the needle stretch. So I want you to turn yourself over, so you're staying on your mat, but you're onto your hands and knees. All we're going to do from there is take your right arm over, so your knuckles are onto the ground, onto the floor, onto your carpet, and all you're going to do is you're going to reach away with that arm. You're going to reach away and keep reaching until that shoulder touches the ground. Hold for a second and bring it back. Same again. Push the knuckles away. Keep reaching until the shoulder touches down. And coming back. Twice more. Really reach into that stretch. Good. And again. Good. And switching to the other side. Good. From there, drop your hips down to your heels, link your fingers behind your back, try and push the knuckles down to the floor, almost let the knuckles touch, and lift the head and chest. Really try and open up across your collarbones. If you find it hard with your hands, you can walk your hands back to allow yourself even more stretch if you require it. Coming back forward, head down, chest down, child's pose. Three, 2, and 1. Good stuff. Guys, congratulations. Tuesday morning Pilates is complete. I hope you had fun. I hope your glutes are suitably worked, your abs are suitably worked as well. As always, please do leave me any comments, any updates, anything you'd like to see in the other classes. Obviously, we have resistance band classes class tomorrow. That's always going to be Wednesday at 12, and mat Pilates is going to be Tuesday and Thursday at 9 o'clock going forward. So, look, I hope you had fun. If there's anything you want, any requests, send me a message, pop it in the comments. And again, if there's anything that you found difficult specifically for you to do, or you need some different options, then please do message me in privately. Happily to help make sure you get the most out of these sessions as we can. I hope you had fun, and see you tomorrow at 12 o'clock for resistance band. Arena, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Goldie, nice to see you pop in. Lillian, glad you enjoyed it. Hey, Eva Maria. It's my wife's giraffe. I'm sure you knew that. I'm sure you didn't think it was mine, Eva Maria. Maybe you did. Who knows? But yeah, it's my wife's giraffe. Laura, glad you enjoyed it. Rita, glad you enjoyed it. Barry's Laura, I'm glad you enjoyed it as well. Olga, Antonia, Angela, Marin, Angelica, fantastic. Antonia, I'm glad you enjoyed it that much. Mariana, fantastic, great feedback. Pfizer, glad you enjoyed it as well. Brilliant to hear. Have a great day, and I'll see you all on Thursday.